I have a dream. I want to liberate women. I want to free us from the endless daily routines so that we can have more free time for ourselves, for the things we love, and for our creativity. This way, we can unlock our potential faster, which I truly believe will help us become happier and maybe even change our inner and outer world for the better. How can we achieve this dream? As a space organizer, I suggest that we learn the theory of space organization and apply its practice to our daily life. Today, we will talk about the 9 main myths that exist in the world of space organization. Hi, I'm Adia, and I'm here to remind you that a peaceful home doesn't have to be perfect. In this video, I will reveal the most common myths about home organization. This will help you gain understanding and results. If you are looking for effective tips on creating long-term order without stress, subscribe to this channel. Let's go. Myth number one, you must declutter everything at once. The reality is that most moms and really most people don't have 2 or 3 days at minimum to completely declutter their entire home. Not to mention large apartments or private houses that would require even more free days for that. Why does this myth exist? Because social media keeps showing us perfect before and after transformations. We rarely see the process itself, and even we do, it's never the full picture. That's why people who watch these videos and photos don't really understand how much energy and time it takes and how hard it really is. Social media also shows us a mythical ideal space. It exists, but it's not livable. The truth is that decluttering works best when it's done in small, consistent steps. What lesson can we take from this myth? I recommend starting with one shelf or one drawer or one corner. Start with decluttering and then choose thoughtful storage solution. Always remember, adding more storage space often leads to more mess if you do it without purpose. Remember the golden rule. Small victories accumulate into a powerful momentum. First come small decluttering steps, then optimization, organization, and so on. Myth number two, containers always solve the clutter problem. The reality is that containers or organizers doesn't solve the clutter problem. It only hides it. Why does this myth exist? We can thank marketing for that because stores constantly offer us their boxes, organizers, and containers, presenting them as a magic fix. And we tired of the mess and full of thoughts in our heads with a strong desire in our hearts to get rid of this clutter, of this chaos. We fall for this kind of advertising. We also tend to trust advice that we see on a social media. And yes, those tips sometimes are really useful, but sometimes we simply can't determine which solution suits us or which organizer can actually solve the problem. Clutter isn't a storage problem, it is a decision making problem. Before buying a container, we should first do a few basic things. Step 1, declutter things we already have. For example, pick one category and sort through it. We should decide how much space we dedicate to this category and how many resources we are willing to spend to keep it organized. And by resources, I mean money, time, and personal effort, and etc. What conclusion can we draw from this myth? Decluttering should always come first, then organization, and only after that buying the tools and helpers for that organization. It's important to remember that containers doesn't exist on their own. They must fit your space and serve your needs. Containers shouldn't get in the way or take up extra space. That's why analysis is so important. Myth number 3, a perfectly organized home will stay that way forever. Many people think that a home organization is one-time event and ideally everything should look like on Pinterest. But the reality is that the true organization is not about achieving a perfect Pinterest picture. It's about creating a functional and sustainable space that flexibly adapts to your life. And what is life made of? It's made of us, our family, our children, our work, our daily routines, our hobbies, and etc. All of that naturally creates some mess. And people mistakenly believe that once they organize, they will stay in their perfect houses forever. Why does this myth exist? Partly because of social media, which shows us unrealistic spaces that look flawless. But in reality, these homes and these apartments are staged. They do exist, you might say, and I agree with you, but they don't stay frozen in their perfection forever. Some of them even look lifeless. Why? Because if the real life happens in those spaces, their perfection will naturally be disturbed. In reality, space organization is about creating a system that allows order to be easily restored. It's not about keeping your home in untouched perfection all day long. That's simply impossible. It's only possible in one case if no one lives there. The key takeaway from this myth is organization in the style of perfect social media pictures focuses on visual aesthetic, but not on practicality of the space. So instead of striving for constant perfection, strive for easy restoration of order. And remember that in home organization, you should focus on functionality and comfort. It will lead you to your own kind of perfection. Myth number 4, more space equal more order. The reality is that even large houses can create a sense of chaos and disorder. This happens because in large houses there can also be too many things. So, the bigger the house, the bigger the chaos. Why does this myth exist? Because people often think my house is messy simply because it's small and there is not enough space for my things, and often they try to solve this problem by moving to a bigger house. But organization depends on person's mindset, habits and routines. It hardly depends on square footage of the house. The conclusion is fewer items equal more space. Myth number 5, open shelves are a great storage solution. One of my favorite myths because I believe it's actually mistaken. Why? In my subjective opinion, many professional organizers consider open shelves as storage, but I think that true storage on open shelves is impossible. Open shelves serve two purposes. One is to display item, and the second one is to provide easy access to that item. Even if we look into the etymology of that word, store, we can understand the root. Detailed breakdown of the word storage is the origin. The word store entered English from Old French, and it means furnish, provide, and build. The Latin root itself comes from the Latin. It means to set up, establish, renew, or restore. And deeper root come from the root sta, meaning to stand, make, or be firm. So true storage means items are protected. Open shelves can create visual noise. Many organizing methods suggest that horizontal open surfaces should be cleared of items to make cleaning easier. Items on open shelves are exposed to more external factors and aren't properly stored. So if you love open shelves, by all means enjoy it. I also display items on open surfaces. But for true storage, I advise you to use closed containers, boxes, cabinets, drawers, and so on. They truly serve the storage function, protect items reliably, and help you organize them efficiently. Myth number 6, decluttering means getting rid of absolutely all sentimental items. This is not true. People fear that decluttering will take away their memories, individuality, where did it come from? Minimalism trends often show. I don't want to bash minimalism. Even standard space organization methods with simple decluttering can scare people, but minimalism trends often show extreme forms of decluttering. Some people think that they should be ruthless with their belongings, but that doesn't work for everyone. For example, it doesn't work for me. I consider myself as an enjoyalist. I'm an optimist or optimalist who loves balance, who loves enjoyment and moderate keeping of certain categories. But I respect minimalism and I learn a lot from this approach. We can group ourselves by interest and types of space organization, but we are all different people and we are individuals. Therefore, everyone has different principles for storage and organization. Sentimental items can and should be kept. But since space organization is about making decisions, we should keep sentimental items with a clear intention. Mentally say, I choose to keep this. I'm ready to dedicate space in my life for this memory. I'm ready to spend money and time for carrying this item. The conclusion is decluttering doesn't mean removing all the memories. Keep only what truly means to your heart. Myth number 7. You must follow only one strict method of space organizing. For example, method of Fly Lady, KonMari, clutter bag, minimalism, and etc. The reality is that every family is unique. Every woman is unique. One size fits all methods don't work for certain people. For example, what works for busy moms might not work for homemakers, or the methods that work for business women might not work for moms with many children. In general, rigidity and limited method choices stifle our creativity. They just atrophy it, but we need the opposite. So, why does this myth exist? Because popular books and influencers promote their products and systems as the only right way to solve the problem. I'm not talking about the founders of the methods that I mentioned before. The truth is that we can borrow ideas. The main principle of space organization is that it should serve you and suit you. If the method doesn't suit you, you can take ideas or solutions from another method. You can mix ideas from different methods and choose the best solution for yourself. Each of us needs an individualized method. The best method is that you can actually stick to. I like myth number 8 because I used to be mistaken about it myself. Space organization is always expensive. It doesn't have to be costly. In fact, a space organization can cost nothing at all, at least at the beginning of the process. Even the whole process can be free. I'm trying to practice this. At first, you can use items and tools you already have. For example, reusing containers, boxes, jars. You can also make organizers yourself instead of buying new ones. How did this myth appear? Social media often shows us perfect interiors with visually expensive designs. Many people think that achieving such pictures requires buying expensive furniture, storage systems, or pricey organizers. Marketing promotes a mistakenly idea that organization equals a product. In reality, organization is a process. A product is just a tool, so don't trust marketing. True organization is not about products or items, it's about the processes that I have mentioned before: decluttering, organizing, optimizing, creating storage systems, and etc. It's about wise use of the space. To organize your home effectively, you can use simple, low cost solutions. For example, shoe boxes, jars, DIY labels, There are many videos, DIY videos on YouTube. Buying expensive organizers without analysis leads to organized, expensive clutter. It's useless. Space organization doesn't have to be expensive. I recommend starting with decluttering and using the items that you already have. Only after that, I recommend to buy the stuff you need. Note that a person before decluttering and the same person after decluttering are different people. Why? You ask me why? Because in person's life and mind, the space freed for creativity. And this creativity affects not only personal areas such as work or hobbies, but also home organization. And so creativity influences everything, including the way you manage your household. And remember that good systems are more important than expensive items. Myth number 9: professional organizers always have perfectly organized homes. But this is not true. Even experts don't live in flawless homes 24/7. Why does this myth exist? For several reasons. Social media shows us after pictures, but not daily reality. People assume that if someone is an expert, then her or his home must be perfect or perfectly organized all the time. And the experts feel pressure to maintain this image. Even professionals have messy days. And that's okay because life happens. Professionals are people first. They just have a knowledge and can create a system to quickly restore the order. I keep repeating that organization is not about never letting your home messy. It's about being able to manage your clutter and your home effectively. So, what's the key takeaway from this myth? Even the best experts aren't perfect. The goal of organization isn't to eliminate clutter forever. It's about creating a convenient, manageable system that can easily restore your order and refresh your space. So, we have debunked the biggest myth. Remember, more space isn't the perfect solution. Decluttering doesn't mean losing everything, and trendy boxes won't magically organize your home. Which of these myths did you believe before? Please write in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, let me know with the like button. If we are on the same wavelengths, subscribe to this channel. But if we are not, I recommend not to subscribe to this channel. I don't want my content to harm anyone or to become clutter in someone's life. And if you still think that all professional organizers fully apply everything they teach, I recommend you watching my next video where I expose an expert that completely failed in organizing her own space. Bye!